Hi everyone, my name is Sachin Sandel and welcome to my channel Canada True North. Today I am outside and the weather is really good. It has been raining since morning. Today we are here to discuss more about Canadian Citizenship Certificate and also about how to apply for Canadian passport. So after 2 weeks, I received my Canadian Citizenship Certificate. So this is how it looks, and it is a really nice certificate. I would say the feeling of getting this is really nice. Also, with this certificate, I received two letters. One from the Minister of Immigration for welcoming me, and also from Prime Minister of Canada. I know they don't write customized letters or something, but then it feels good when you have the letters from the top leadership welcoming you to the country. It said welcome home, so it was a really nice feeling to get that. Also, just after getting my citizenship certificate, I wanted to apply for Canadian passport as soon as possible, because as we all know, right now there is a strike going on for all the federal employees, and that is also impacting the passports. So what I did was, before the strike started, one day prior to that, I went to apply for my Canadian passport, and it was a nice experience. I applied for the express option. So there are three options. One is wherein you apply for the regular passport and you get it within 20 days and it comes to your house. The other one is express, if you want to get the passport within 10 days. And not all the passport offices offer this service. You'll have to check, okay, this is the specific passport office that offers this service. And third one is wherein they give you the passport on the very next day. So, but you need very strong reasons for getting that passport. And even for express, if you have a vacation planned or any travel plans, then you have your flight tickets or anything, you can attach. And if they think that okay, they are legit and they are okay with it, they provide you with the express or the urgent service. So what I did was, I have some plans to travel and I attached an application stating that okay, so and so are the dates when I am planning to travel and I'll be driving to US. So they accepted that and I was able to apply using express service. But I don't know what will happen. The very next day the strike happened, and they have given me a date for next week, but then I will keep you posted if I got my passport or not. But today we'll discuss more about how can we apply for the Canadian passport. So all the things that you need in order to apply for Canadian passport, the very first one is Canadian Citizenship Certificate. So that is something that you get after your oath. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you should get your citizenship certificate. Without that, you won't be able to apply for Canadian passport. So the next thing that is required is a guarantor. A guarantor can be any person who has Canadian citizenship and who has known you for 2 years. So that is very important to have a guarantor, because the guarantor needs to sign your application form as well as sign the photo that you will be providing for the Canadian passport. So make sure that you have a guarantor, and we'll discuss later what all are the requirements who can be a guarantor. The next would be two references. You need two references for people who have known you for at least 2 years. That is very important. The next thing you require are photos for your Canadian passport. So two photos have to be clicked, wherein one needs to be attested by the guarantor. So what I did for my case is, I asked the guarantor to sign both of the photos just in case it is required. Few places where you can get the photos done is, I got it done from UPS. So UPS offers a service of photos. So I got it done for my passport as well as my OCI or also my surrender for Indian passport as well. So they offer this service. Also, Staples, Walmart, all of them have the service. So what they do is, after clicking the picture, they put in a stamp at the back of the photo that says that okay, I guarantee that this is the photo of so and so person. So just the guarantor needs to sign at the back, and it is more than enough. After that, the main thing that is left is the citizenship application. So we'll just see how the application needs to be filled in and what all is required. Other than that, you need one ID in order to prove that okay, you are living in Canada, and that should have a photo. Ideally, you can use a driver's license, you can use your health card. If you're going to a passport office and submitting your application, they will just check your ID and return it back to you. But then if you have to mail it, then it is required that you do a photocopy of it and the guarantor signs on it in order to ensure that, okay, this is true. Also, the final part would be paying of the fees, right? So there are different fees structures. If you're applying for 5 years of passport, 10 years of passport, or you are applying for the normal service, express or urgent. So we'll discuss more about that in the video. So when we come to Google page, we can simply search for apply Canadian passport. So this is the page that actually opens up. So we have to click the very first link that takes us to canada.ca. So this is the government website that we are supposed to go to. So how to apply for a Canadian passport in Canada. As we discussed earlier, there are 3 ways by which you can apply for Canadian passport. The very first one is urgent. So the service standard is end of next business day. We need to make sure that we go to the passport office and not to a Service Canada, because Service Canada will not offer you this service. And also, not all the passport offices offer this service of urgent pickup. For example, I applied for my passport in Brampton office, but then they do not offer this service of urgent, though they offer the service for express. And also, if somebody applies under express, they have to go to Mississauga office in order to collect the passport. So please do check if the passport office near your house offers this service if you want to apply under the urgent service. Walk-in only, no appointments. You must provide proof that you need the passport. So it is important to understand that we need to provide airline, bus, train tickets, or if you're traveling by a car, a written statement. So that is something that I did in my case. A travel itinerary showing proof of payment if you have any. Proof of illness or death if that's the reason that you are traveling. A written statement from you or the third party explaining why you need the passport. For example, for legal, banking or residency requirements. So it is important to provide the proof. The next one would be express, wherein the service is 2 to 9 business days. In my case, I applied under express and they gave me a date after 1 week. So after 1 week, I can collect my passport. But then now the strike has happened. I don't know when will I get the passport. But then yes, you also need to check if the passport office near you is providing this service or not. There are extra fees for both of these. We'll discuss more about that later. And the standard is wherein the time is 10 to 20 business days plus mail time. So you can go to any Service Canada center or passport office, but make sure to notice that Service Canada will take 20 business days, whereas passport office will take 10 business days, because at the end passport office is the final place where it will be made, and even Service Canada will be sending the file to passport office. So it is a smart decision to just visit the passport office. You can do it by appointment or walk-in. So you can also apply by mail. So 20 business days is the standard for that. So let's go to apply to get your passport in 2 to 9 business days. So this is something that opens up. So it is asking me, what happened to the most recent passport? So it wasn't lost, it wasn't stolen, it wasn't damaged. If it happened, please select those. But for me, I am applying for a new passport, so this is what I've selected. Okay, so these are the things that need to be done. So the very first thing is complete the form. So I'll just download it. After this, yes, very important. Don't forget to tell us if you want a 5 or 10 years passport. So that is something that we'll discuss. And if you will forget about it, I'm pretty sure the people at the passport office will ask you, because the fee varies for 5 and 10 years. Other than that, gather all the necessary documents. So what all is required? Proof of Canadian citizenship, as we discussed, which would be the certificate that you get. So any valid Canadian passport, any other travel document if that was issued to you, a document to support your identity. So that is also very important. And what are the requirements? It should be valid. It should include your name, date of birth, photo, signature, and be issued by the federal, provincial, territorial or state government authority. And if you're applying through mail, please make sure that you are doing a photocopy of both sides of the ID and it is signed by the guarantor. So as we discussed earlier as well, it is important that you get it signed. And these are the type of IDs that you can use: Canadian passport, license, health card, military ID, foreign passports. So if you think that, okay, you have any one of them, you can use it. Okay, if we go back, so where we selected none of the above. Other than that, two identical passport photos are required, wherein one needs to be signed by the guarantor at the back. Other than that, if you have changed your name and there is some document, you need to attach that as well. Or if you're replacing a stolen or damaged documents, or any additional documents, if they are applicable to you, please do attach these ones. And yes, as it says, guarantor and two references are important. And for a guarantor, they need to sign your application, one of your photos, and if you are applying on mail, so all the copies of your supporting identity documents. And two references, the reference must have known you for at least 2 years. Your references cannot be family member or your guarantor. So it is very important to notice that. You cannot ask your husband or your mother or your father to be a reference, because that will not be accepted. And other than that, you have to submit your fees. So this is what it was. Let's open the form and see what all needs to be filled in. Okay, so this is the form that has opened up. So if I zoom it a bit, okay. So the very first thing that we need to put in is your last name. So whatever is your last name, you can put that. Your given name, all former surnames, if you have had used any former surnames. For example, if women, if they get married, usually they change their names. So if you did that, you can put it over here. What was your mother's surname at birth? You can put that. Place of birth needs to be filled in. What was the country? So what I have noticed is in few of the places you cannot really fill it when you are filling the form on the computer. So it is absolutely okay if you do not fill that, and later when you get a printout of it, you can just fill it with the pen. So that is also acceptable. If you are not comfortable to fill a form on the computer, it is completely acceptable if you are filling that the complete form with the pen. So type or print in capital letters using black or dark blue ink. If you're applying using express or urgent service, you need to put in when are you traveling. So if you know the month, and I'm pretty sure if you're traveling, you will know the month, do put in over here as well. After that, the country needs to be filled in. If there is a specific province that you can fill in, please do. Date of birth needs to be filled in. After that, what's your gender, what's your sex, male, female, or another gender, your natural eye color, what's your height, can be in centimeters or inches, what is your current home address. So this is very important to fill in. Also, if your mailing address is different from your home address, do fill this. But then if it is same, that you don't really have to fill this. What's your email address, your telephone number. So this also needs to be filled in. And you need to sign over here, because there is a declaration that every information that you're providing is right. So sign within the border. Make sure that your sign does not go out. I'll show you how it should be. And the date when you have signed and where you have signed. Then comes the major part, wherein the declaration of guarantor is mentioned. You need to write the last name, the given name, date of birth, Canadian passport number. So this is very important. Usually what happens is, if you have a person who is unknown, and if you just ask the basic information, they provide you, but then the person needs to provide their Canadian passport number for this. So make sure you have that handy before filling the form. Then when was the passport issued, when is the expiry, also your relationship to the applicant, their phone number, because what I have seen is usually the passport department, I would say, they call the guarantor in order to check, okay, do you really know that person or not. It is very important that the person should at least know you for 2 years. And yes, other than that, their home address, and this is where they sign. That's one. Another is where they sign at the back of your photo. And the third one is, if you are applying by mail, they sign on all your photocopies of your IDs. So this is important. You need to fill in how many years the guarantor has actually known you. They date it and they sign it over here. Now coming to third, previous Canadian travel documents. So if you're applying for a new one, this is not something that needs to be filled in, because has the Canadian travel document been issued to you in your current name? So it is just no that needs to be filled in, right? And if otherwise, you can read what the instructions are over here if there was one that was already issued to you. After that, proof of Canadian citizenship to be completed if you were born in Canada. So only if you were born in Canada, you have to fill this, or else you can just skip the A part and move to B part. If you were born outside Canada, so we will select the certificate of Canadian citizenship and put in the number and the date of issue. So when you receive your Canadian citizenship certificate, at the front is what you see that I had actually shared in the video, and at the back side all your information is mentioned. So what's your certificate number, on which specific day you became a Canadian citizen. So that is usually the day when you took the oath, so you need to mention this. Also, to be completed if you were born outside of Canada between 1977 and 1981. So if you were born in this duration, please fill all of these as well, or else you can just skip it. Documents to support your identity. You can fill all the information of your driving license or all the documents that we just discussed. Then you need to sign over here. In order to apply for the passport, the first 3 pages have to be filled and signed. Over here is the second page, you sign and you date it. Then comes the third page, wherein you select the validity. So I would recommend 10 years. Because I know 5 years does not make sense to me, but then if it does to you, you can select 5 years as well. Usually most of the people select 10 years. After that, it is important that in last 2 years, what were the addresses where you have lived. So if it was same, you have been living at the same address from last 2 years, perfect. You just select this and it is more than enough. But then if there were like different addresses, you have to put the dates over here. And if you think that, okay, the space is not sufficient, please click on this and you can just attach it with your application. Other than that, in last 2 years, what were you doing? Were you employed? Were you in school? Or were you just unemployed or retired or homemaker? You just need to fill in all the details over here for 2 years. For example, there were people who were working, but then they were laid off due to COVID or any other mass layoffs. They just need to put in unemployed and the duration when they were laid off. That should work. After that, the references that we discussed. So the very first reference over here, the second one over here, their details. They do not need to provide any passport details or anything. Just their names, relationship, their address, number. So in order to confirm that, okay, there are people who have known you, they just call them as well at times. Also, the person has known you for XYZ years, just fill it over here. Another optional thing that is there is, just in case of any kind of emergency, you can provide this emergency contact information as well. You can provide it for your wife, your husband, your parents, or anybody that you rely on, and sign this at the end. So this is the third place where your sign is required, and you date it as well. So once the 3 pages end, it tells you everything what all needs to be filled in, how it needs to be filled in. So as we had discussed in the starting of the video, this is the checklist, and all 3 pages of the application form have to be signed within the last 12 months and page 1 certified by the guarantor. So if you are like applying it recently, I'm pretty sure you would have filled everything in last 12 months only. 2 identical passport photos taken in last 6 months. It is very important that they are taken in last 6 months, because if you get it clicked from a studio or UPS or Walmart, when they stamp it, they write the date as well. So make sure that it is a recent one and it is certified by the guarantor as well. Proof of your Canadian citizenship, document supporting identity, any valid travel document if it was issued to you, and the fees as well. So this is where the fee structure comes in. So if you are applying for a 5-year validity, it is for 120 Canadian dollars. If you are applying for a 10-year validity, it is for 160 Canadian dollars. So I think this one makes more sense. But then if you are applying for your passport from USA, so the fees actually changes. So please do see this as well. And I think for Express, there is an additional fee for $50, and for Urgent, there is additional fee for $110. So when I went to apply for my Express, I paid $210 because I applied for 10-year validity as well as for Express, so $210 over there. If you're applying through mail, you have to fill this credit card information as well. But then if you're going to a passport office or the Service Canada, you just need to go there and you can tap your card and that works as well. This is where you need to send everything if you're applying by mail. It is important to see that what all is required when we are filling for the personal information. So we just discussed that it is just explaining everything. So this is important to notice that signatures have to be in the inner limits and you should not sign wherein you're crossing the inner limits. So please make sure this is done. And also the declaration by the guarantor. So this is the criteria. The guarantor must meet the following criteria. He should be able to communicate in English or French. If somebody is a Canadian, I'm pretty sure they would be able to. Be a Canadian citizen, 18 years of age or above. So you cannot have a guarantor who is below 18 years of age. It is important. They should hold a Canadian passport that is valid or has been expired for no more than 1 year. So that is important. Have been 16 years of age or over when the application was submitted for passport. Have known you for at least 2 years. I think this is the most important one. They should have known you for at least 2 years. It also says that the guarantor must perform the following 3 tasks free of charge. Complete or validate the information entered in section 2. So basically on the very first page, they have to sign also your photo and your IDs. So that is something important. So yes, photos and signed copies document of your IDs. So that is important. If there was any previous Canadian document that was shared, you need to have that. Documents to support your identity, we just discussed. Proof of Canadian citizenship, we discussed about the certificate. And Canadian passport photo instructions. So I had shared this earlier as well. So whenever you go to any such place wherein they click photos, you can just tell them I need a photo for my Canadian citizenship, and they know the sizes. But then if you are not sure about it, you can just click a photo, take this with you and show it to them. This is everything that is important. And yes, that's all. So this is how we fill the Canadian certificate. So thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, do like, share and subscribe. I will put in more videos regarding my Canadian citizenship journey. Please subscribe to the channel because as I have seen, most of the people who have been watching the video have not subscribed. So please subscribe because it helps. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos like this. Thank you.